cell. Twisting helps in opening. And so the cells become, fill in the blanks, Lakshmi madam.
Active. Ready to.
Become insulin.
Resistance.
Insulin.
Resistance.
No, then if they become more
Intolerance.
insulin,
Intolerance. Sorry.
they
Insulin
become more insulin.
tolerance.
No, not tolerance also. Dr. Pratibha Shinde, they become more insulin. She'll say, I've just entered and the question comes on me. It's hurled
Yeah.
on me.
Only doctors can answer it.
No, it's a simple, it's not a medical word.
Insulin resistant.
No, I don't want insulin resistance. So actually, diabetes is not a disease of blood sugars. No, we discussed yesterday, no, that blood sugar is a sequelae. But the cells become more insulin sensitive. So Lakshmi madam, sensitive word is not a medical word that you're saying only doctors can answer. If the cells become more
Ma'am, how can we
insulin
do
sensitive.
the test of that?
Picture abhi bahut baki hai. I'm going to tell you about the test.
Okay.
We are going to speak a lot on the test today. We are going to speak on the fasting insulin, the HOMA IR. Okay. So let's
Sir-
see. Yes.
Ma'am, if you do the exercise like this, what you tell, there is no need for taking the tablets for diabetic, right?
No, there is no. See, there is no substitute for exercise. Sachin Tendulkar also has to do his push-ups. He can't pay somebody to do exercise for him. That is true, but you cannot manage diabetes only through exercise.
So if the pre-diabetics for long time, what is the result?
Pre-diabetes you can manage through your exercise and your diet also.
Okay, yes. I have been pre-diabetic for past 4-5 years.
So yesterday we spoke that blood sugar is a symptom of diabetes, and we should not be saying ki blood sugars mean diabetes, because suppose I say I have fever and I'm suffering from malaria. I have fever and I have typhoid. So fever is a symptom of that malaria. Typhoid is also the symptom of that. The fever is also a symptom of typhoid. So similarly, increased blood sugars is a symptom of diabetes. Hi Sudha Rastogi. Hi Maria.
Hi, doctor.
Yes, welcome.
Yes.
Okay, welcome everyone to this nice bright evening. It's raining out here in Mumbai since 3 days. I'm from Mumbai. So this, as I always tell you, is my favorite slide. Knowledge is power, information is ammunition, and awareness is enlightenment. The ancient maxim, know thyself, applies to every facet of human existence, especially to one's health. The prevention, treatment, and management of illness and disease becomes easier and more effective when we are aware of the early symptoms of the medical condition so that we can nip it in the bud stage. We do not allow it to become full blown, so that we can recognize it and we can get into the treatment part very, very quickly. Okay. And do not allow it to become like a full blown picture. But we should not take things on our hand. We should consult a doctor. We should, for diabetes or any other hormonal disturbance, it's a good idea to spend on an endocrinologist. He's trained. Okay. 3 years of internal medicine, MD after MBBS, and then again they are trained for endocrinology another 2 to 3 years. Okay, so etiology we learned yesterday. High blood sugar is a symptom of diabetes. Insulin resistance, we did it at the end, the concept of resistance. And this again is an important slide which I want to again cover. Tell me if you all were not there yesterday. Okay, so this is the 4 wheels of a car: nutrition, sleep, stress, spirituality. I would replace this with knowledge. I would replace this with patient education. I would replace this with awareness. Okay. I can even replace it with meditation. Anything. Okay. This wheel can manage the other 3 wheels. 4th wheel is the exercise, but this is of paramount importance, this wheel. How do you measure? Who did this homework yesterday? Everybody forgot to do the homework. Hi, Kalpana. Who did this homework yesterday? Of
I
measuring
just
the waist.
said mine. That's all.
No, I didn't get you. Just repeat.
I just measured my hip from hip. I took
So
the
how much was
measurement.
it? What was the reading?
36.
36. Okay. So not much. So yesterday we discussed, I'll just repeat because there are newcomers today. So how do you have to measure your waist circumference? It's not where you wear your pant. You have to stand up straight, exhale, and keep the hip bone, that is the bony prominence, which is above your bikini line. Okay, the above the elastic of your panty, that is the 4 inches above on either side. There you have to keep the measure tape and measure your hip bones. That is your waist circumference. Okay, and we need to exhale and measure. We should not be holding it too tight against the body. So yesterday, yes, I'll go back to this because there are newcomers. So how does it read? For men, it should be less than 40 inches, and for non-pregnant women, it should be less than 35 inches or 35 inches. Then you are in the safe zone. You do not get metabolic diseases or diabetes. What are the metabolic diseases? Many are there. What did we learn yesterday? Hypertension. All these come from increased truncal obesity. Okay, पेट का मोटापा or Madhya Pradesh, as we call it. So it's not a sign of prosperity, it's a sign of concern. Yesterday we learned about the 3 types of alpha, beta, and delta cells. Glucagon comes to when you have low blood sugar. Okay, now let me just tell you one thing. Yesterday we discussed all this. The people who are on medication of diabetes, okay, whatever Janumet, whatever metformin, whatever, they will experience episodes of hypoglycemia. Suddenly the person will fall down, somebody will come, glucose मुंह में डालेगा, glucose limbu pani or some sweet, right? Yes or no?
My father used to have that. I used to feed him.
Madam, we won't discuss individual cases, but what I'm trying to again tell you is that people on medication get attacks of hypoglycemia or low blood sugars. But the people who are into reversal and they do not take any medicine, have you ever heard that they fall down and they get low blood sugar?
No.
We've never heard they don't get. That means because you're going to the doctor, you're getting hypoglycemia attacks. And because you're going to the doctor and he's giving you that tablet, you have to eat every 2 hours because you have to eat the carbs which are dangerous to diabetes because you're taking the tablet. Yes or no? And here we tell you it's a disease of carbs. You reduce your carb reduction. So there was one man who was referred to an endocrinologist for the general practitioner refers to the endocrinologist for insulin, no? How many doses, how many points to units to take off the pen. So this man was a Gujarati man and he said, doctor, I don't want to start with insulin, right? We all have that. I don't want to start with insulin. So she asked him, Mr. Shah, how many rotlis do you eat? You know what are rotlis, no? Very thin, paper thin. My daughter in school, she used to say, Mummy, Niti's roti is transparent. Your roti is not transparent. So thin they make, the Gujarati people. Very fine rotlis. So he used to have 8. Okay. So she told him, Mr. Shah, we meet next week. Can you reduce your rotlis to 4? Okay. He said, yes, ma'am, I'll do that. And next week, his blood sugars were half. From 400, they came to 200. Now, Mr. Shah tells the doctor, doctor, if you want, I will make it 1 rotli, but you don't start with insulin. Yes or no? So, is the doctor telling you to change your lifestyle or is your body telling you to change the lifestyle? And you are taking medicines to treat your diet, to treat food, you're taking medicines just to treat the food. Yes. Yesterday we ended the class at bariatric surgery. I was telling you that you do stomach stapling, reduce the size of your stomach, and diabetes vanishes. But we've not touched the pancreas. Why the hell did diabetes vanish by just working on the stomach size? So somebody said they are interrelated. I said, no, it is dependent. Your pancreas depends on what you put into your mouth, how careful you are. And remember, initially, you make your habits and later on your habits make you. Yes or no?
Yes.
Agree with me? Yes, no, perhaps?
Yes.
Initially, you make your
Yes.
habits, and then your habits make you.
Mm.
Come. Hi, Swati Lahoti. So I remember this because glucagon comes when your blood sugars drop. Insulin comes when your blood sugars are very high. Somatostatin is the father of both. Yesterday I told you. And for the others, it's a quick revision. Type 1, beta cell disruption. They cannot produce any kind of insulin. Here it is insulin
You want to
resistance
try?
speak about, and there is beta cell dysfunction. They are there, but they are dead, they are not functioning. Okay. Third type diabetes is gestational diabetes, which occurs during pregnancy. These kind of mothers are prone, if they do not look after their weight and their lifestyle, it goes into adulthood diabetes also. Yesterday we discussed about the banana and the carbs which we are eating. Here, fructose, yes, glucose enters the stream, but comparatively less. We also discussed that we forget when there is anybody in the family who gets diabetes, first thing they do is they quit the spoonful of sugar in their tea and coffee. But they forget that they are eating the carbs as breakfast. What is the general? So WHO describes idli as the best breakfast. Do you think it is so? It is a rice based. That's why idli is always considered as a complex carb. What is the meaning of a complex carb and a simple carb? So simple carbs are your roti, your breads, your pastas, which increase the GI. GI also we will discuss glycemic index today. And the complex carbs are when you mix the sambar with a lot of veggies. Okay, you mix the sambar with a lot of veggies and then you have it along with the lentil is used, the dal is used with the idli. Also, it has a little bit of urad dal. So that becomes a complex carbohydrate. Okay, now we have always heard of essential fatty acids. We have heard of essential amino acids, right? They are required for protein synthesis. But have we heard of essential carbs? Has anybody heard of essential carbs? No. Why? Why we have not heard of essential carbs? Ms. Tasneem Pitalwala. Because carbs are not essential. Carbs give you glucose, but glucose is already made by your body. Anybody knows how glucose is made by the liver? It is a process which is known as gluconeogenesis. Neo means new, genesis means growth. Okay, genesis. Okay, gluconeogenesis is a factor which is happening all the time, and your liver is making that glucose. So you don't need the external essential carbs. Word does not exist. But if you want to eat your carbs, you can what? Put clothes on your carbs. What is the meaning of putting clothes on your carbs? Come talk. How can you put clothes to your carbs?
You camouflage them.
How? What do you mean camouflage?
Add dal, sabzi,
And
Taking unpolished things.
salad.
okay. So I'm having a poha. I'm having a besan chila. Besan chila is very good. So do you think I can have 10 chilas and pudlas? 10? I'm hungry, but it's healthy for me. It's dal.
But quantities matter.
Quantity matters and gluten-free wheat. Okay, we spoke a lot, Kalpana, about the green revolution yesterday. So look, okay, Kalpana has given me a long talk. I'll tell you about that also. So what we were talking of? So suppose I'm having pohas, I will put a lot of veggies. Okay. So Sudha Rastogi, how do you have your... So who's a Punjabi out here? How do you have your Rajma Chawal? How do we have our Rajma Chawal?
Rajma.
So I take rice and I like to take it in a bowl. Khadde wala. And then you put Rajma on top? Yes or no? But do you know the ideal way of eating it? It's put your Rajma first and then put rice as garnishing. What's the meaning of garnishing? What do you use for garnishing? Kothmeer. coriander. And what do? We reverse it. Right? Yes. So Kalpana, if anything is fat-free, then they add something else to make it fat-free. So if anything is gluten-free, then they add something to make it, the sugars to make it gluten-free. Nothing comes like this. And have nothing out of a packet. Have nothing what which is made in a plant, which is made in a factory. Have something which comes from plants. Eat something which has the power of getting spoiled. So there are people who tell me, Madam, can I eat a bad banana? No, eat something which has the capacity to get spoiled. Which does the biscuit have the capacity to get spoiled if you keep it on the shelf 2 months, 3 months? Okay, but your banana can last. That's why it's always said, eat local, think global. Eat local, think, yes, marketing gimmicks. What do? Is they remove the fiber. Fiber itna nikal dalte hain, and then they put a lot of sugars and starches so that you start feeling hungry again. Okay. Again you're hungry. See these breakfast cereals and all. How do you think they are made? Today, even the poorest of people think they are doing real good to their children if they give them Kellogg's porridge. Nothing out of a packet. Nothing. One day I will teach you how to read labels. Red, yellow, and green labels. They cheat you by putting, the sugars, masks at anything which ends as a dextrose, maltose. They put the sugar in different names. Have you seen that? So suppose you go to the hotel, you want to eat that hotel ka that only food. Why? They have got a lot of food additives which they have added to make you addictive. Understand that. It's a game. They spend money to these food engineers to redesign the food so that you get hooked onto it. Yeah? Okay, let's quickly run through what we did yesterday. I'll run through. So all these symptoms and all we did yesterday. And we stopped here. So this is important. This is the insulin receptor. Insulin is the key. Once we eat even a cashew nut, the pancreas are signaled that please secrete little insulin, and the channel opens, glucose channel, and the food enters. Right? We stop here and the food enters. So insulin works like a key, and then the person gets energized. Food goes into the cells. Okay, you get a lot of energy, and cells turn glucose into energy. Right? That's why when the glucose is gone into the cells, the blood glucose reduces because the glucose is going into the cells from the blood. Blood glucose reduces. Okay, like this. So when I eat food, the pancreas are signaled. Okay, and insulin is released. Insulin works like a key. The cell takes up the glucose and it gets energy, and some glucose is stored later for further use. Energy. Okay, like this. Now, what happens is, this is your key, right? And insulin works like the key. If the key fits inside glucose channel, what happens? It opens up and the food goes inside. But will my neighbor's key fit into my lock? No. There's a master key to everything. So insulin works like a key. Oh, sorry. Here we go. One more slide. Insulin works as a key and the door opens and glucose goes inside. One more slide. Insulin works. It's opened up the lock. Door has opened. The sugar from the blood is going inside the cell. So then the blood sugars reduce. And this is happening in a normal person. Insulin works like a key. See, there are many holes, mouths of the cell opening. So many keys, it's going inside. What's happening here? This is a concept of insulin resistance. The key is going. The key is not fitting. So, is the cell getting glucose? Where is the glucose? It's gallivanting outside in your bloodstream. And then this is what we call as diabetes. Clear? And because this cell is constantly hungry, it's constantly starving, you start feeling hungry. That's why they feel hungry again and again. Once. Okay? Now, this what happens is that when the food is not being able to go inside, as I told you, so this is not blood, huh? Mind you, this is not blood. This is not blood. Okay, this is something which I'll explain to you. This is the doorway to the cells. That's insulin, which is the key is good. Key is not defective, but the key is not fitting inside only. So there is a naughty boy in my building, right? He doesn't sleep in the afternoon. And there are a group of boys. So what they do is they eat chewing gums. Okay, like cows. And the juice has gone off, right? The juice has gone off from the chewing gum. So they are too lazy to throw it in the bin. And it's fun, no, when somebody sticks onto that chewing gum. So he gets that chewing gum and he puts it into your keyhole, right? It's making sense. He's putting it into your keyhole. And then what happens is you call up this bhaiya, huh? So I have in my phone, keys, Matunga Ganga Vihar I have, and I tell him, "Aap aao, jaldi aao. Darwaza nahi khul raha hai. The door is not opening. You please come." So he's trying. Then he's trying for another key. Again, the key is not fitting. So he calls up his employee, bring the whole bunch of keys, and then let's put it inside, and nothing is working. Why it's not working, Nidhi Puri? Bolo na Dilip sir, aap hi bolo.
Because the chewing gum is stuck.
Chewing gum is like there.
So it takes them a while to realize that I have to remove that chewing gum. मेरे को 450-500 का फटका लग गया, okay? But it takes them a while that this naughty boy has put chewing gum. So I've told you I'm a good storyteller. Don't get into my stories. Understand why I'm telling you this story is because in my cells, okay, in my cells, this chewing gum is the acidic food which I eat. The tea, what are the acidic foods? What are the acidic foods? The tea and the coffee, right? My carbs, my cooked food is all acidic. Raw food is alkaline. My non-veg, all become acidic chewing gums and stick to the opening of the mouth, right? Following Kalpana. But now what happens, because I have eaten something, go back to that cashew which I ate, and the pancreas is signaled that you secrete insulin. So now understand this scenario that it's not going in. The sugars are not going in, and my body gets so scared, it signals the pancreas, you secrete a little more insulin. So it secretes more amount of insulin. See, I'm getting horripilation explaining to you. I hope you can see it. It's so beautiful to explain. Okay. And see, around 5 units of insulin. Still, it's not going. And the pancreas is signaled 15, 20 units of insulin, please. And it's not going insulin. It's not going inside. Okay. So, do you think diabetes is a disease of less insulin or hypoinsulinemia or hyperinsulinemia?
Hyper.
Yes, but
Hyper.
Nidhi Gugia, when I go to my doctor, he starts with insulin. Isn't that sad? He gives me more insulin. And do you know the story? If by 1 tablet it doesn't reduce, he gives me a 2 tablet. Okay. If 2 doesn't reduce, he gives me 3. Right? And if 3 doesn't reduce, he sends me to the endocrinologist who starts with insulin. Okay. Now, the best part is, after that also I have that high blood sugars. So what he says, we'll start with insulin along with tablets. So I've had patients, my school friends' sisters, heavily diabetic. And she took a consultation from me over Zoom. And she said, I'm eating all the millets now. But still not zero, because you have to do a workshop on millets to understand what are millets and how you should be eating them. Similarly, up here in my building, Manju comes, the cook comes, and she makes jawar ka rotis. And once she sent me those rotis, they were like jail ka rotis, fat. So that means they eat these fat jawar ka rotis thinking that they are safe. But again, it is a grain. It is a grain. It is sweet. Followed? So let's go back to the slide which we ended at yesterday. Followed? But there is no compassion for the doctors to sit and explain that you change your lifestyle, na? Change your food, na? Change your diet, na? Go for exercise, na? But for patent, walk for 1 hour in the morning. How will that walk help you? How will that help you to open up those acidic cells unless you change your diet, unless you do a lot of fasting? I'll get to that. So, this is a common story. It's not COVID time. So, in Tokyo, they have these trains. Okay. So, this compartment is full. But now, these two guys, what are they? What's written? Insulin resistance. These two people are employed, and there's a queue behind. Okay, the blood glucose. And these two guys are supposed to push you in, and then the doors shut. Okay, so now what happens? Two guys are not enough. What will you do? Two guys are not enough. You'll pay 4 people. Aap bhi dhakka maro. Dhakka maro. Okay, it works. If I pay 2 more people, okay, I pay 6 people. 6 police, what are they? Guards to push you inside. Will it work? Velina, sad story, you know, such a sad story.
Because there is no place inside actually.
There's no place inside. Okay, so this is the scenario which happens to your diabetes when you visit a general practitioner, and this will not work unless you get stuff out from inside out. Okay, so this is the concept of insulin resistance, and only diabetics have it. Only diabetics have it? No, even
Non-diabetics also can have it.
Yes, so let us understand the symptoms. How do I detect if I'm insulin resistant? Yesterday, I ended the class on the black line which occurs on your neck, the acanthosis nigra, and other skin tags which we get. Yesterday, I told you all about that doctor who told that little boy's mother, you know, in 20 years, your son has a black line, your son has skin tags, he's going to get diabetes. What did the mother do? Vinita Narang, what did the mother do?
Change the doctor.
She changed the doctor only. Who's going to this fellow who's like an astrologer telling me? But people don't like to hear all this. Okay? So who's a good friend who's very sweet to you? So what are the symptoms of insulin resistance? So craving for sweets and salty food. So this happens to me. I eat sweets and then I need 2 wafers after that. Darkening of the skin in the groin, the armpits, or behind the neck. Too much of fatigue. Frequent or increased urination. Tingling sensation in the hands and the feet. Increased hunger or thirst. I think we all have it. Increased hunger and thirst. That means these are symptoms of insulin resistance. Great. Okay. So this is insulin resistance. Glucose does not go into the cell. Okay. The glucose is the sugar. It's not able to go into the cell. Okay. So now I'll stop this and I'll take you to my part 2. Yeah. Okay. So what we ended as was at this. So what exactly do we do? So today is the management part. So what exactly do we do? What exactly do we eat? Right? So what is the GI? Let us understand what is the GI. Then we will classify foods according to low, medium, and high. So every carbohydrate without fail ranks number from 0 to 100 according to how much they cause the blood sugar to rise after they are eaten. So if I eat something, how much will my blood sugar rise? Okay. According to that, they are classified into low GI, medium GI, high GI. So we will not go into details of what to eat because each text will tell you a different variation. Some will say watermelon falls in low GI. Some will tell you it falls under high GI. So since we are at watermelon, let me just tell you. So I am a diabetic educator also. So I take cases for diabetes. And the lady was telling me, I don't eat mango. Mango season. So obviously, forget diabetes, you'll get depression because the whole family is eating mango and you are not eating mango. Right? So you'll suffer from depression. So I just asked her, look, Mrs. This, can you just go and Google the glycemic index of mango? She Googled. Then I told her, can you just and you know, every morning, she and her son and her daughter-in-law were eating a nice bowl of watermelon. Because it's a fruit, no? It's a fruit. What do diabetics get? List. Chiku nahi khane ka, banana nahi khane ka, pineapple nahi khane ka. Are? Everybody knows this list. Everybody has this list from the doctor. But does it work? It doesn't work because we have not counseled the patient. Right? Mindful eating is another topic altogether. So then she Googled the GI of watermelon is higher than mango. So I told her, go ahead, but portion control, one slice, one sliver, right? Not the whole mango. But this is what we do in ignorance. We feel watermelon is full of water only. Okay? Understand? Lakshmi ma'am is shocked.
Yeah.
Right? So we proceed. Now, these are high GI foods. See the biscuits, the beverages, the cokes, the drinks. So there is nothing real in real juice. Okay? There's nothing real in real juice. So your Tropicanas and your Godrej ka what, give it to the maid. In fact, don't give it to the maid also. Yes. So I did a workshop. Believe me, I did a workshop. And she asked us to throw all the Maggies and the pastas, whatever in your house. And everybody was sharing on Facebook that I didn't throw it because I want to give it to the maid. And then somebody commented, you don't want to eat it, so you want to donate it to somebody else to fall sick. And do you know what happens? If I keep it, I'll only end up eating it. For sure. When I'm hungry and famished, there goes the biscuit packet. And I don't stop at 2. I can eat the whole packet. I always tell you all, I don't have a sweet tooth, I have a sweet jaw. So if I take 25 rupee ka nice, whole 25 rupee ka I can eat. So I take 10 rupees ka nice. I like nice because in my nani's house that used to be there. We have, you know, there is all, we compare and we there's nostalgia. There's reminiscing of what food we used to eat where. See from where it comes. This food this one used to give me as a child. See, it's all what conceptions you have formed with it. Come, let's go further. So it's out of sight, out of mind. Okay, medium GI foods and low GI foods. But again, this is controversial. So this is again a glycemic chart. Don't take a picture of this. It's there all on Google. Okay. Now, one more thing I want to tell you all over here. Okay. So you may be going by Dr. Google and eating according to it. So my friend's husband, okay, he's a South Indian. So she says, you know what? That man, if he eats rice, his blood sugars don't increase because he wants to eat those rice as a South Indian. But if he eats, in fact, something healthy, it increases. That's why we have a concept of CGM, the continuous glucose monitoring. So some people ask me, ye khao? I said, nahi. Kha ke measure. After that, measure. Not just one. The strip will go waste, but you will understand how your body responds to that particular rice. Followed? Also, it changes with a lot of mind work. But if you tell me it's only stress, I will not believe you. It's a disease more of the tongue than stress. But if I teach you, they say, no, you teach somebody to fish rather than give him the fish. So there was a lady on record, her husband died and her diabetes became 400. She calls up the doctor, but she had been under her long-term treatment. So she said before she reached me, before she got the appointment, she had got it to 180 because she knew what to do. Stress was there. It did increase. But that doesn't mean you take a nice big cake and then binge onto it. Half the food which we eat is emotional eating. It's emotional craving. I always give you all example of that Shifali Chaya in that Dil Dhadakne Do. Anil Kapoor is having an affair and then she takes that cake and she's not able to eat and she shoves the cake into her mouth, spilling it all out here. But that's what works for us, an instant sugar spike weaning. Okay, so this is again very variable, so I do not, yeah, this slide I showed you all earlier. This also is a glycemic chart. Okay, so how you classify is up to you. Okay, this also we did yesterday. Now, there are plenty of options of breakfast. So this you can take a picture. Basically is eating anything without carbs. So you can have dal-based nashtas, you can have your moong dal idli, you can have your dhokla, you can have your appes. But again, they also have to be eaten with something raw. With something raw as a fiber. Mixed dal thali peet. Okay, these are slides. I mean, besan chila, dhokla. Okay, lunch and dinner options, very, very important to understand. What are these three vatis? What are these three vatis? Okay, brown rice, unpolished, bajra bhakri. What do you mean by three vatis? And so when a plate comes to you, you should be having one roti with three vatis. What do the three vatis contain? Ruby madam. One vati should contain your salad. One vati should contain your
Vegetable,
dal.
veg.
One vati should contain your vegetable. Okay, Kalpana? And if you want a second roti, what should you do?
Again, 3 rotis.
Again, three vatis. Will you feel like taking the third vati, third chapati? No. Again, who will take those three vatis? Huh? So, I think I can be done with one chapati and three vatis. Right? If it's a good, not a very thin roti, but it can be done. It can be done. Try it out. Increase your vati size. Clear? Okay. Brown rice again needs to be soaked a lot. You need to develop a taste for it. But it should not be thinking, Arey, I am to eating brown rice na. Let me eat 2 vatis. It is healthy. Satyanash. Okay. So this is what people think. They call for a packet of chips, which is what? Baked, not fried. Do you know the story of baked, not fried? It is first fried and then the oil is removed through machines to give you that. You don't need the tissue paper on down. They are all fried. Your diet chivra, make in the house. It will never be crispy because it is deep fried and then the oil is removed through machines. Diet chivra, diet chivra. Anything which is tasty. So we are more hooked on to the oil and the salt. Remember your Vasco da Gama. Let's move further. What are the reasons of insulin resistance is we learned. Yes, okay. Quickly, let me just tell you one thing. That there are 3 types of fat. Haven't you all told me, but I am very thin, still I have diabetes. So, itna sara truncal obesity ka lecture fukat. Okay? Fukat waste? No. There are 3 types of fat. So, there are these sumo wrestlers. Haven't you seen all that things? Their body sags and hangs. Sumo wrestlers, 200 kilos. They don't suffer from diabetes. They don't suffer. Okay? So that kind of fat is known as subcutaneous fat. मतलब चमड़ी के नीचे वाला fat. Harmless. Harmless. All sumo wrestlers have subcutaneous fat. Second type of fat is like the fat which we have. Visceral fat. Okay? What is visceral fat? Around my organs, there's a lot of fat. And that's why I'm obese. I'm overweight. I may not be obese. Overweight. Okay? I taught you all about BMI, how to measure the BMI. Now, what do diabetes have? Okay, I'm using a bigger word. Please don't get scared. It's intramyocellular lipids. What are lipids? Fats. What is the meaning of intramyocellular lipids? Myo means
In-
muscle.
In
Cells.
between the muscles.
So in between the cells, intra, not inter, intercast nahi hai. Intra, myocellular lipids. Lot of fats in the muscles ka beech mein of the cells. That's why you get that. That's why thin people can also have it diarrhea. Okay, so now let's proceed further. This I wanted to tell you all about 3 types of fats because I had written. Now, why do you think we should be stopping milk? If you go vegan, the diabetes reverses. Forget reverses. Remission. There's a remission of diabetes. Why do you think milk should not be considered? Because milk has something known as insulin-like growth factor. That's why you will see a 1-month baby grows so fast. 8 months, he can sit. 6 months. 1 year, he can walk. Because milk has insulin-like. Insulin is a growth hormone. We yesterday discussed. Okay, it has a tendency to be storing at your abdominal area. So it has insulin-like growth factor. But today, if I, as a 54-year-old, am having a lot of milk, then how do you think I will grow? Can I grow tall like the baby? I will grow horizontally. I will become, because it has growth factor. So whether you go to your A2 milk, whether you keep a cow, Jersey cow outside my house and milk it, milk has insulin-like growth factor. Okay, so you're having curd of that A2 milk, spending that 100 rupees. It has insulin-like growth factor, whereas plant-based curds do not have that. Plant-based curds are not easy to make. You will lose a lot of peanuts, you lose a lot of cashews, but once you set your hand into it, it's good. A coconut milk chas, you will not come to know that it's not made out of coconut milk. It's not made out of dairy. You will not come to know. But get the hand of it, put the right spices, and then a coconut milk tastes exactly like your chas. So that's why there are people who train you to learn to cook vegan food. Okay, replace regular milk with coconut milk or any other plant-based milk, herbal teas, green teas, white tea, black tea, or infusion. Then, okay, yeah. So there is this, I just told you, acid and inflammation and excess of fat, I just told you, in the body. Now, it has been seen that when you work on reduction of fat, we are speaking of fat. This is an actual slide. The liver and pancreas fat, what is this? Baseline. This is of an obese individual. And what is this? What is written? Post weight loss. See this. Where is this beach ka material gone? See this. Somebody's pulled it out. So fat loss is so important for you to lose weight. So important. And believe me, it cannot just happen outside, calorie in and calorie out, unless you work on your hormones. Remember, obesity is not a calorie disease issue. Obesity is an insulin issue. Okay, it's an insulin issue. Yes, and lack of micronutrients. I don't think we'll have time to discuss all this. So how to reduce excess of insulin is make the body alkaline and improve micronutrition is through your micronutrients is a big topic. Eliminate excess fat, circulate the blood first by your lymphodermo exercises, which I teach you all, the lymphatic pump exercises. Build muscles through strength training. Find your unique ways to manage stress. Somebody just dances their worries away to Zumba. Remember that. Now, first thing is stop milk and milk products. Start smoothie. Now, smoothie, the central atom of any green leaf is magnesium. Okay, the central atom of any chlorophyll-based green leaf is magnesium. So once you start having these nutrient-dense smoothies in the morning, empty stomach, you can really get a little bit of reduction in your levels, and your hair fall will stop because magnesium, your stools will improve, okay? Because magnesium is a relaxant, as a muscle relaxant, okay? Your blood pressure will also reduce because magnesium is a vasodilator. It increases the size of your blood vessels. Yes, Antoinette, is it something related to this? Because
Last slide, please. Last
C-peptide.
slide.
Yes, yes. I need to
Last
explain
slide.
C-peptide and HOMA-IR. I'm rushing through. This one? Okay, structure your lunch and dinner, 25% eat salad, cooked vegetable, dal and grain. Structure your breakfast, again sprout salads, 2 world super brain yoga to with Surya Namaskar, soak nuts and seeds at 3 to 4. This is the slide, Antoinette. Stair climbing and nitric oxide or any kind of anti-gravity exercise you have to do, not just walking. Doesn't work. Now, these tests also I'm skipping because I'm going to discuss 2. Insulin resistance, I discussed. You can reset your eating habits. Okay, we discussed. Okay. High glycemic chart, low glycemic chart releases the energy quickly. You feel, okay, high GI foods, it's inversely proportional, have low satiety. You'll start feeling hungry. Low GI foods will start high satiety. So if you eat these low GI foods like your carrot, your cucumber, they keep you feeling, yes, cucumber has a lot of water, but they are inversely proportional to the satisfaction or the hunger level, right? Insulin resistance. Okay, we know this, right? High carb diet. Always, I remember once we had called for 1,000 ka pizza and the pizza, Antoinette, you can lower your hand. The pizza was this size. It was for 1,000 or something. Okay, my daughters. And then keep this dabba also on the outside. Everybody starts looking for the kachra also. And I told my husband, Antoinette, you can lower your hand, the digital hand. I said, 2 hours. He said, why Divya 2 hours? I said, again in 2 hours, you'll start feeling hungry. And then he was hungry. 2 hours. Even if you put your veggies inside, but my family likes it with choy cheese. So high carb diet will again, constant high glucose in the body. Insulin demand is also more. Cells are insulin resistant, hungry again, okay, starving, the cells are starving, and then you start getting a lot of problems. So what's the quick way is to reduce insulin resistance is to reduce your weight. But it's not a magic wand to reduce your weight. It's the weight loss starts from here, not from here. Okay, this we saw. Now, let us understand this. So in the morning, when we wake up, diabetics, Antoinette, are you not able to lower your digital hand? It's disturbing to me. Lower hand, where what you press for raise hand, click on lower hand. It will be gone. So what do you check? Come on, diabetics, quickly answer. In the morning, utke, dukhi hoke, what do you do?
Fasting blood sugar.
Fasting blood sugar. So that's the biggest rubbish test to be doing. You need to go to the lab and check your fasting
Insulin.
Yes, Nidhi Puri. Okay. So that's known as a HOMA-IR. Okay. What's a HOMA-IR? Determines your insulin resistance level. Beautiful, no? How much I'm insulin resistant. So everybody can be doing this, not just diabetics. So how is it evaluated? The green is insulin sensitive, low diabetics risk. If it shows you yellow, borderline, insulin resistance. If it shows you a red, if it's more, now this is a beautiful slide because, okay, it's less than 2.9 is insulin resistant. I'll show you results of my daughter's chart. They may be having maybe 9 insulin, but the reading shows you under 10, it's okay. No, not 9, it was 5. Okay, but ideally, a good endocrinologist will tell you, keep it below 3. Keep it below 3. But the lab reports will show you, Spandana Mehta, that itna chalega. That's not true. Don't be happy. You have to keep it within 1 and 2. That means you are not prone to any kind of disease. What say Dr. Pratibha Shinde? Are you with me? So higher the range, higher the, one second. Higher higher the reading range indicates greater resistance. The smaller the number, the safer you are. Okay, less than 1, very safe. So fasting glucose, 85. Fasting insulin should be 2 or 3. HOMA-IR, like this. Okay. So it's a good idea. It's not a very expensive test. You should be doing it. Benefits of green smoothie. I'm skipping. You can Google because I want to tell you much about the C-peptide. Okay. So I'm skipping this. I'm skipping this. I'm skipping this. So again, this is again a triad. Excess body fat, chronic inflammation, you'll develop insulin resistance, you'll develop a lot of dyslipidemia, all the fats will be in haywire. Now, a good endocrinologist, that's why I say never go to the GP. He will tell you, you do your C-peptide test. Again, these tests are not expensive. What is the C-peptide test telling you? Whether your body is producing insulin or no. Okay, so if the body is producing insulin, why give more insulin? And believe me, insulin is expensive. Every month, your cost of the pen, the tablets, they are not cheap. So how do we check what is the meaning of C-peptide? Let's read. So C-peptide is a biological inactive peptide formed when beta cells of the pancreas, okay, when the beta cells convert pro-insulin to insulin. Most C-peptide is excreted by the kidneys. Okay, so C-peptide levels usually correlate with the insulin levels and provide a reliable indication of how well the pancreatic beta cells, remember I taught you beta cells secrete insulin, alpha cells secrete glucagon. Beta cells secrete insulin. What does it mean when your C-peptide is low? With type 1 diabetes, your pancreas makes little to no absent insulin and little or no C-peptide. Okay. With type 2 diabetes, the body makes insulin but does not use it well. Remember that naughty boy cut chewing gum. This can cause the C-peptide levels to be higher than normal. The test may also be used to find the cause of low blood sugar, also known as hypoglycemia. What's the difference between C-peptide and insulin? So C-peptide and insulin are released from the pancreas at the same time and in equal amounts. So a C-peptide test can show how much insulin your body is making. This test can be a good way to measure insulin levels because C-peptide stays in the body longer than insulin. Clear? They are both secreted in the same time, but we measure C-peptide to understand the amount of insulin your pancreas is secreting because insulin does not stay for very long. Clear? Okay, if you all don't understand anything, get your C-peptide levels done. Now, can be used to measure the amount of insulin made by the body. Okay, let's not go too much into this because I need to tell you about normal range is 0.8 to 3.8. Okay, normal range you can get a picture. Now, insulin resistant, higher fasting C-peptide means the body is producing too much insulin. This happens in insulin resistance when the body is struggling to keep the insulin levels at bay. Pancreas increases insulin production in response to higher blood sugar, but the tissues protest. What is resistant? The cells have become resistant. Okay, so higher C-peptide can predict insulin resistance. Metabolic syndrome clubs which diseases? High blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist, low HDL, and high triglycerides. Okay, so these are the complications we all know they happen. Okay, now this also I'll skip because let me just show you quickly the exercises for it. Okay, so this is the 8 exercise diet. First, you can be doing your swimming, you can be doing active stretching. Balance exercise is extremely important. Yoga, walk outdoors, rowing, okay, work with a personal trainer, body weight, and resistance exercises or resistant band exercises. What are the ways of doing anti-gravity exercise? The easiest and the famous and the useful is stair climbing, which can be started with 100 steps and go up to 300 levels. Okay. So the common problem your patient will tell you, madam, my knees pain. I cannot climb the stairs. So you have to explain that knee pain does not occur while climbing the stairs. Knee pain occurs while coming down the stairs. While coming down the stairs. It's not climbing down the stairs. Right? Climbing is climbing up. It's coming down the stairs. So what should you be doing? So you should be coming down with the elevator. Madam, हमारा building में elevator नहीं है. Okay, so go to a mall or something, find something. If you do 2-3 rounds of 5 floors and coming down with the elevator, nobody will stop you if you go to the other building and do it also. Okay, so these are only excuses. Yes, Mustana madam. Yes, these are only excuses, and I have the solutions to every excuse. Huh? For nitric oxide dump, please Google this exercise, nitric oxide dump. Those with knee pain have another option of nitric oxide dump. It's a compelling exercise in which we do squats, arm raises, non-jumping jacks, and shoulder presses. For those people who are unable to do stair climbing and cannot do nitric oxide also, what will you do? You can lie down and move your hands and legs in the air. It is anti-gravity. Do it for 1 to 2 minutes. The reversal of diabetes does not happen only with walking, and one needs to be doing something more. Your strength should improve. To improve your strength, you need to work against gravity. Do try these 3 options as anti-gravity. Okay? So don't think. And stair climbing, how do you climb the stairs the best way? My students, tell me. Don't hold the railing. Don't hold the railing. It gets very tough. And if nobody's looking, put your hands up there, eyes of the elbows open, and walk so that your oblique muscles are also stretched. Abdominal area is stretched and your insulin is being used up fast. Okay, so these aerial yoga, too good, expensive, but you should be doing aerial yoga. So if you cannot do your Shirshasana and all, the headstands, the handstands, they tie you up with this aerial yoga kind of thing. And you can hang, you can really hang. These are all anti-gravity exercises. So this is the trend. They are expensive, these classes in yoga, but it's a trend. Okay, now this is again strength training with a simple block, doing your Setu Bandh with a simple block. So this is the nitric oxide dump exercise. You can take a picture. It's very self-explanatory. Okay. Now, nitric oxide, you should be doing it thrice a day. And it's a nitric oxide is a gas kind of a thing which dilates your blood vessels. See, this was smooth muscle tight. After you do the exercise, the lumen becomes big and the blood flow starts flowing fast. Why you should not do it successfully? Because new nitric oxide needs to be developed in your body and it takes 3 to 4 minutes to accomplish and 2 hours allowance in between. And then you can see a significant difference in your blood sugar readings. Okay? Yes. So let's take the return gift of today's class. Learning about GI foods we learned, insulin resistant we learned, complications I skipped because they're not a good idea to see. Role of anti-gravity and nitric oxide dump exercises. 1 minute.
That nitric oxide
Yeah, it was not showing screen share. Wait. I'll do that. Give me a minute.
screen movement, so
Yes, I just realized it was not being shared, the screen. You should scream earlier. Madam, nahi dikhta hai. Okay, I take you to nitric oxide, right? Here. Take a screenshot. Done. Then there's one more. Done.
no, ma'am.
This is very descriptive. Clear? Okay.
No, ma'am, please, the previous one. Nitric oxide thing I couldn't take.
You couldn't
I
take
couldn't get the first one.
this one?
No,
Before
the
that.
previous.
Okay, I'll give you this one. This one.
Yeah.
Done. Just let me know once
Yes,
you're
yes.
done because we've shot past.
Yes,
the
yes.
time.
Yeah, got it.
Yes. So thank you for the gift of your time, energy, and attention. Okay, we meet on Friday morning for a yoga class. Hope it has been a
you, ma'am.
worthwhile hour for you all.
Excellent.
Thank
It
you,
was a
ma'am.
wonderful
Thank you so much.
session, ma'am. So much
Would that
information.
be part 3, like you said?
What did I say?
Part 3 of diabetes?
I have 2 lectures in a week.
Next week, ma'am.
Next month we'll put again.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank
ma'am. Bye,
you.
all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Anurag. I forgot about you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Bye, all.